web address to remember. Oh, here we go. I was just telling the people, an easy web address to remember for the JLP Live audio player is RDO, kind of like radio, rdo.to/Jesse. It's an easy web address to remember to pull up the audio player for the JLP Live thing. A lot of you guys don't have access to the app, the JLP Live app, which is only available in the Apple Store, not on Google Play. What a mess. Anyway, guys. What's up, guys? It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. It's Wednesday already, September 8th, 2021 AD, 9th, 10th, 11th. The 11th, September 11th, will be on a Saturday, which would be the 20th anniversary since 9/11/2001. And I have a hand-picked, heart-picked song. Oh, can we actually play this little skit first? This skit is entitled, it's from the Knights of the New Crusade, Temptation of a Hipster. Listen to this very brief skit right now. Temptation of a Hipster. Forgot about this thing. Give me some Christian punk.
I wonder if I'm trying hard enough to be cool.
Yeah, that's right. Do what people tell you to do. Don't worry about your immortal soul. Worry about being hip and cool.
Away with you, Satan, father of lies and prince of deceit. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ.
No!
That's the Knights.
We're the Knights of the New Crusade.
Here to set you straight before it's too late.
They love you. That's the Knights of the New Crusade. And here is their real song because they're doing skits. What are they, a rap album? Lipstick Lesbian from the Knights of the New Crusade and the 2006 album, A Challenge to the Cowards of Christendom. Cover your ears, press mute. I remember this skit, says Lin Yin-chin. And hang on, guys. Bear with me. I'll talk you through it. Enjoy. Knights of the New Crusade.
I know a girl that thinks it's fun to smoke and drink and curse and lie. She don't know that when she's done, she's only making Jesus cry. When I see her around the town, she's doing things to make the devil proud. Satan plans to bring her down. The mansion he's sitting in the clouds.
Powering through this song.
She's a lipstick lesbian. She thinks she's having fun. She's a lipstick lesbian. But the trouble got begun.
Sing Christian music.
Yoke trap. Worshipping those false gods too. Someone's got to witness to her. I guess it's up to me and you. She's a lipstick lesbian. She thinks she's having fun. She's a lipstick lesbian. But the trouble got begun.
I love this band, says Stephen Will. Thank you, man. Knights of the Psychedelic Crusade. Music's pretty good, says Beeswell.
I pray to God to save her soul. But she likes a life of danger and sin. Her life of trouble will take its toll. Only Jesus can save her from the trap of sin.
James, where do you get this awful so-called music?
She's a lipstick lesbian. She thinks she's having fun. She's a lipstick lesbian. But the trouble just begun. That lipstick lesbian. She thinks she's having fun. She's a lipstick lesbian. The trouble just begun.
So good.
And while we're at it, let's keep marriage sacred and outlaw divorce, adultery, and pornography.
Amen.
Amen.
I can't execute sinners to this. This music ain't my cup of tea, but it's Hake show. Winky face. Well, guys, James, you hate my ears. But anyway, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. That dude rips the guitar. I love it, says Slow Cheddar. Cheddar. Shoo, it's over, says Robert Lee. Well, guys, I just like to share my Christian music with you from way back, 15, 20, 25 years ago, and more sometimes, in the case of white art, I guess. But speaking of punk rock, is the Taliban punk rock? One of the defining characteristics of punk rock, at least from what I heard, which I don't think is true, actually, is that I do what I want. I don't do what I'm told. But now the punk rockers, except for the conservative ones, are all about doing what they told you. Get vaxxed. Get vaccinated. But the Taliban is painting over what is trendy. They're painting over what is trendy, what the establishment put in place. The Taliban is not exactly anti-establishment. They want to be the establishment. And I don't think, maybe they are kind of punk rock because it is kind of beta to be a Muslim and to be all into that mess, right? And punk is beta. I didn't realize it until relatively recently because it's based on anger and rebellion. And when you rebel, you're still controlled. Isn't that true? Well, I saw these, before I get to calls, you can call in 888-775, I'm pointing way over there, 3773, 888-775-3773. I heard that the Taliban painted over a Georgia, Florida mural, and I have a picture of that mural, I think. And, you know, they do their thing that benefits them, and good for them. We should do that our thing that benefits us. And be shameless about it. Although they're pretending like they believe in we will respect women's rights as far as Sharia law allows. Here's that Georgia, Florida mural, disgraceful. Just propaganda, worldwide propaganda of this Minneapolis, right? Minneapolis, Minnesota, is that what it was? Or St. Louis, Missouri, or is Minneapolis, Minnesota? I'm blanking on it now. There's so many. Too many. Georgia, Florida, Minnesota. Thank you. Georgia, Florida, this overgrown criminal trying to reform himself, drug addict trying to reform himself, had chronic back pain, had a white girlfriend whom he called Mama. And they both got hooked on fentanyl, and he'd overdosed in the past before, had to go to the hospital, according to her. That's what I heard. Quit cussing, James. Was I cussing? They're covering up all kinds. There's this Japanese person whom some dumb artists had painted this picture of a Japanese, and they're painting over it with Taliban stuff, which in some cases it's an improvement, and in some cases it's less of an improvement. It's worse. It's no different. It's all ugly for the most part, right? And reports are, you can just show these different Taliban, different locations. They painted over the front gate or something, the wall in front of the U.S. Embassy. the soul of Kabul. Taliban paint over murals with victory slogans. And good. Well, not good, but fine. In the case of George Floyd, that was a disgrace. Georgia, Florida. Look at that. The U.S. Embassy in Kabul, I guess it's a former U.S. Embassy because it kind of closed not all, but the establishment Americans, the ones that they wanted to get out, they got them out. Ordinary people did not go out. Murals freshly painted. And look at this, eyes, gross. Why would you want to have eyes? So they painted over it with an improvement, in all honesty. That one was an improvement. Like a woman's eyes, all big on a fence or a gate. Ugly. I think that's what that was. And then they painted it white with some black lettering. Presumably Muslim stuff. Well, that's fine with me. Forget that. And they're putting propaganda, right? Look at this one. It's a Japanese guy. What's Japanese stuff doing in Afghanistan? Why would you want that? They do that here. It's bad enough having it here. At least there's Japanese people here, so we can say, oh, okay, that's nice. Share some of their values. If they have values that are good, whatever. But that's a Japanese guy, right? In Afghanistan, Japanese doctor and aid worker who was killed in 2019. Maybe he was killed over in Kabul. I don't know. Replaced with a slogan congratulating the nation for their victory, referring to the Taliban takeover of the country. Well, that one was actually kind of pretty, but it's all a bunch of fake globalism stuff. Diversity. Give me a break. How about we spread Christianity, right? Where is the push to spread Christianity? Even the missionaries who are spreading Christianity, they're doing it in such a weak way. And they're liberals, most of them, and globalists themselves, not real Christians. So anyway, the Taliban they set up their government. I told you about this in Hake News at the end of hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today. Yesterday, the militant group announced who's taking the helm as part of Afghanistan's interim government. The move comes weeks after it took over Kabul and days after it claimed the capture of Panjshir, the last remaining province that was supposedly not under its rule. In the new government, senior Taliban figures, including Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akhund. I think I have a picture of this guy. Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akhund. Hakuna Matata. Means no worries for the rest of your days. Who's blacklisted by the UN? Well, the UN is on my blacklist, so a blacklist of a UN's blacklist. The enemy of my enemy is, who knows, maybe an enemy too, but he's far away. Stay over there. He's the interim prime minister now. The UN is corrupt. And you know who else is corrupt? The FBI. Bunch of liberals. Backstabbed Trump majorly. Backstabbed Americans. They've probably been doing it for decades, and I just wasn't really aware of it. FBI's most wanted, Sirajuddin Haqqani. And he's on the FBI most wanted list. He's leader of the Haqqani, Haqqani. I have a picture of this guy too. Well, at least a picture of a FBI wanted poster about him. He's like in his 40s, according to this poster and stuff like that. There's only really drawings of him and a side view of him with a shawl over him. Afghanistan, Pakistan, 5'7", 150 pounds, medium build. He is wanted for questioning in connection. Chris calls him a manlet. He's wanted for questioning in connection with the January 2008 attack on a hotel in Kabul, Afghanistan, that killed 6 people, including an American citizen. He's believed to have conducted and participated in cross-border attacks against the United States and coalition forces in Afghanistan. Haqqani also allegedly was involved in the planning of the assassination attempt on Afghan President Hamid Karzai in 2008. Is that the guy who ran away? Karzai? I don't know. I can't keep track of this mess. I can't even keep track of the stuff going on here. The Rewards for Justice program, United States Department of State Department, is offering a reward of up to $5 million for information leading directly to the arrest of Sarahaddin Haqqani. Should be considered armed and dangerous. Well, that's supposedly an FBI poster. Drawings of him. Has sort of a unibrow. A lot of guys have unibrows. Who looks like Hake, says Colin Barrett. And you know what's funny? They call the Taliban the militant group. Well, militant group means they have guns and stuff, and they use their guns and stuff. And I know not to be too relativistic here, but wasn't America a militant group over there? Isn't American establishment government a militant group here? I saw a CNN report. I read it to you. A CNN report this morning, first hour, like I told you. Taliban used gunfire. There was gunfire on January 6th against an American citizen, a Navy veteran or Air Force veteran. Detentions and beatings. There was definitely detentions to this day of January 6th protesters. And alleged beatings of the mostly peaceful protesters. The Taliban used these things to crush dissent. And is dissent not crushed in America? No. I'm just asking the question. Not to call the government totally illegitimate, but it's pretty illegitimate. It's pretty evil. Dealing with evil. They say power corrupts. I think power reveals corruption. And the people seeking the power the most are some of the most corrupt people. What a mess. And meanwhile, even to this day, CNN's fear-mongering and the FBI are fear-mongering, or ex-FBI people, about the right-wingers, the insurrectionists, or the people on behalf of the insurrectionists. There's this rally coming up. Did you hear about this rally? I hadn't heard of it. But the Justice for J6 rally, why would you even call it J6? Anyway, whatever. I guess it's short for it. But that's a reference to the mostly peaceful Capitol protests that took place on January 6th. President Trump held a Stop the Steal rally. There were some mostly peaceful people. I heard an estimate that like 100,000 people were there, but I don't know. And they arrested 500, which is, what is that, 0.5%? 0.5%. And most of those people, the vast, vast, vast majority of those people were peaceful. Oh, they were seen inside the Capitol building. A lot of people waltzed right in the front doors. Well, the doors that were open. You saw cops ushering people in. And you saw them walk in between the usher. What are those things, the posts with the rails? I mean, with the ropes in between them at events? Stanchions. They had stanchions there. Thank you, man. They had stanchions there, and people were staying in between the stanchions. You saw it in the footage. All orderly and civilized, like white people. And they were mostly white people. And they're like, oh, this was an attack. An attack. Listen to this. I read this to you in Hake News, but I have to read. It bears reading again. Law enforcement needs to take the upcoming right-wing rally in support of the jailed January 6th rioters. I wonder how many actual rioters are in jail to this day, as opposed to people who just didn't commit any rioting. They just walked into the building. To this day. I know that there were some who walked into the building, they were jailed, and then they were released. Like that 49-year-old grandmother, didn't she spend a little bit of time in jail? She didn't do anything other than so-called trespass, parading. And she claims that, and I believe her, I have no reason to doubt her anyway, that she was walking into take care of an elderly 70-something-year-old lady. That's not that elderly, but it can be if you haven't taken care of yourself, right? 70-something-year-old lady who was walking in, 49-year-old grandmother. And she was the first who was charged and convicted. And then there was another guy who was a dude my age, or maybe a little younger, who was arrested. You heard there was actually somebody who called into my show who's stepped in through a broken window that it was a tall window so far away. He said that he thought that it was just a doorway. And then by the time he was there, he was kind of making excuses, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was really tough. He's like, there's so many people there and the crowd was pushing on him. He had to step into that window and trespass. And so I don't know. But his home got raided, according to him. And then he just went to jail last month. And now he's facing charges or something like that. FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, ex-FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, he came into the cross sights of our real President Donald J. Trump during his presidency. Andrew McCabe, who's supposedly a Republican. Did you know that James Comey is supposedly a Republican? And yet his wife and daughters, he has 2 daughters, right? Something like that. They participated in the Women's March, which took place the day after Trump's inauguration as president on January 21st, 2017. You could even see undercover FBI ushering people in. It says name them too. Yeah. McCabe has been a CNN contributor to tell you a little bit more about where he's coming from. Communism. A rhino communist? A lot of Republicans are globalist socialists. They hate Americans. They hate Trump. If you hate Trump, you hate Americans. Because Trump represents Americans. And he loves America and Americans. He loves everybody, but... Yeah, and he was accused of treason, actually, by Trump. So, who else is supposedly a Republican? That guy who was investigating Trump. Mueller? Robert Mueller? I think he was supposed to be a Republican. A deep state Obama rhino. That's what McCabe is. He hates real Americans. Law enforcement officials in Washington are steeling themselves against possible unrest a week from September 11th, which is September 18th. That's next Saturday. Not this coming, but next. Justice for J6 rally to support the insurrectionists charged in the riot. CNN's journalism. Why would you even... No media outlet that calls them insurrectionists is legitimate. It's not a legitimate outlet. They are propagandists. Because that was not an insurrection. And I told you guys... Actually, I heard it from other people that this event smells like, or is, absolutely is, not sure, a honeypot, which is another word for trap, I think, basically. To entice and entrap. Unstable. There's some people who are seeing the insanity going on who would otherwise be for what's right, but because they're kind of unstable, they're angry about what's going on, they're driven mad. They want to drive you mad. They want to drive you crazy. They lie and lie and lie. It's like that movie. It's like that movie Gaslight. I think there were a couple of movies that came out called Gaslight from way back in the 40s or 50s or something like that. And it's always casting the husband as a bad thing. Even back then, I guess. The husband would turn down the gas lantern or light, and the wife would be, is it getting dimmer in here? No, wife, you're just going crazy. That's where the term gaslight came from. I read it. So I read, anyway. To entice and entrap the gullible, the unstable, the naive, to try to make white Americans and decent Americans look bad so that they can clamp down on us even further than they already are. And some people are like, it was going to happen anyway. No, we don't fall into traps. Let's not fall into traps. Homeland Security Intelligence Chief John Cohen previously told CNN that recent online extremist rhetoric is strikingly similar, maybe Fed extreme, well, a lot of Feds, and then there's some people who are just referencing the Second Amendment. That's not extremist necessarily. Strikingly similar to the buildup of the January 6th attack. That's not an attack. January 6th. There were a few people who attacked cops or barged into the building when they didn't need to, broke the windows, right? Though they didn't need to. I guess you could call that somewhat of an attack, but that's a stretch to call it an attack. Would you call the Black Lives Matter protests attacks? I would, but they wouldn't. So they're dishonest people. Black Lives Matter protests were much worse than the January 6th thing. Made the January 6th thing look like small potatoes. Didn't Black Lives Matter set that church on fire across the street from the White House? Part of it? St. John's Church or something like that? It's a fake church, honestly. It's run by liberals. Not a real Christian church, but what a mess. So anyway, they're hyping that. I hadn't even heard of it, but you heard it from CNN. It reminds me of these things that we heard about. Oh, yes. Thank you for the birthday wishes, guys. Appreciate that. Thank you, urinal cake sorcerer. But please, I heard that, they're saying Trump will be reinstated. I never heard that from anybody. Not that I spend a whole lot of time on right-wing media, but I am right-wing media, right? Supposedly. I consider myself centrist, center-right. I never heard about, August 14th is gonna... I heard one one clip that was kind of vague from that guy who did MyPillow.com, right? MyPillow guy? But you hear more about it from the mainstream media than from the regular media. The sensible kind. Not included in this Taliban government, going back to the Taliban, is women. Poor women. Even though the Taliban said they'd be more inclusive. Why would you do that? If you want a strong government, you don't put women in there. Yesterday, some Afghan women took to the streets to demand equal rights. I feel like it's improper to call them Afghan or Afghans, because isn't Afghan a blanket or a rug or something like that? Seems weird. I feel like calling them Afghanis. Took to the streets to demand equal rights, both political and civil, under the Taliban's rule. They've risked their lives and safety as the group cracks down on protests. What a mess. Evil versus evil. Am I right? Give me a break. Anyway, let me get to some calls, guys. I will be getting to your super chats as well. Skip in Augusta, Georgia. Been on hold. Skip, how are you doing? I appreciate it.
I guess I'm doing about fair to middle. How you doing, James?
Doing well. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Look here, before I forget, happy birthday again.
I appreciate it, man. It's been my birthday since July 17th, guys. I'm 40 now.
It's a never-ending holiday. Well, look here. We've been hearing all this going on about Afghanistan. That is a tragedy over there, especially how we I don't know how we just didn't plan to get these billions of dollars of weaponry and equipment out of there.
Yeah.
And nobody's explained that to me yet. It's not like we left a few pistols and a shotgun or two over there.
Right.
I mean, they are right behind China and us now as far as the weaponry that they have. I mean,
yeah.
Are you actually gonna tell me they didn't plan ahead of time to get that stuff out? And then I've never heard any talk about that. You know?
Yeah.
How they made that mistake to leave that much equipment behind.
Well,
nobody's explained it. I've heard nobody explain that yet.
I think I can explain it. They say that that they were leaving it to the Afghanistan puppet government that they put in place. You know how they had that puppet government? That was actually invested in the Afghanistan government. So that was for the Afghanistan military. We gave it to the Afghanistan. But the military were being, according to Trump, whom I heard talk about this, paid to defend their country. Paid by the American government to defend their own country. What the heck? To me, it seems like it was built on sand, a house built on sand. And that's all the liberals and rhinos, same thing, ever do is build houses on sand.
Let me ask you this, Hake.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What did we accomplish for being over there for 20 years? I mean, what did we actually accomplish?
I can't tell you. I can't say it's nothing because I don't know. I don't know what good we've done. I know we've accomplished a whole lot of maiming and killing of Americans and supposedly they're Afghanistan's people too. And I think that we were over there supposedly originally because the Taliban was supposedly hiding that guy, bin Laden, something like that, allegedly. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look here. That's something that we'll have to think on for years, I guess, and still not get the truth from
right
whenever they do tell us. But look here. This past weekend, I haven't seen much on the news about it. I had to do a little bit of digging and I found it. But these Democratic-run cities, just black-on-black crime, man, it's just out of control.
Is it? Is Joe spiking?
Biden says,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Joe Biden says white supremacy is what we got to worry about. But I haven't seen any white supremacy. And to be honest with you, I don't think the KKK's got anything to worry about. The blacks are killing each other.
Yeah.
You know, they're shooting each other up. They ain't got to worry about that. They got other, better things they can do.
Right.
Like this weekend, there was 65 people shot in Chicago, and 8 of them were children.
Wow.
You know, 65 people in a weekend, in a 24-hour period.
It's crazy.
And that count now comes up to 280 children shot in Chicago. Now, have you seen Black Lives Matter or Antifa or anybody protesting or trying to talk to the blacks about all this and trying to stand up for what's right? You know, you don't see Black Lives Matter.
Nope.
Or any of them, because they don't matter. Black lives don't matter to them.
Right. Nor to the mainstream media, nor to sleazy Joe Biden, nor to the people who are puppeting him, his puppet masters. Yeah. It's a disgrace.
You had several. You had, I think, 15 shot and 5 killed in Memphis. And then you had Baltimore, which was off the chain, and Philadelphia was off the chain. Yeah. And I looked at Atlanta, do me a little research to find out if the chicken bone problem's getting any worse. And there was a whole bunch of shootings there this weekend in Atlanta, which that's not unusual.
Right. You know? It's warming up. Oh no, it's still warming.
Hey, but get this, James. They want to defund the police. They want to defund the police. Well, we see how that's working, ain't it?
I know. Dumb, blind, liberal people and young people. Young people, for the most part, are not wise. That's why they're trying to pretend that the young people are the new leaders, and they say, oh, young people are pushing gun control. Young people are pushing Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement, and all that stuff. It's phony. And they are delusional and easily controlled and manipulated, just like women and blacks.
But
and
you know what's
Hispanics.
so sad about it? What's so sad about it is a lot of the people fall for this crap.
I know.
You know, not just your blacks, but your white people too. They fall for it. You know, I don't know what's wrong. It's like they got blinders on their eyes. They can't see the truth.
Yeah.
You know, or they just don't want to see it. Hey, you know.
Right.
They turn on the 6:30 news. And Rachel Maddow, or one of them idiots from CNN and MSNBC, will say something, and it's wrong, exactly what they're saying. They're not telling the truth. But they'll believe it, and they'll turn it off and put Jeopardy on and watch it and go on to bed a little bit, eat some stuff and go on to bed. And they don't look for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they don't. Everybody has got to see what's really going on. But why come people don't want to admit it? Why come they don't want to speak out about it or say anything about it? It's like they just turn a blind eye to it. It's like a ostrich putting your head in the sand. If you don't see it, then it ain't happening. You know?
Yeah, and
it
honestly, even the people who are pretending to, and I say pretending because they're pretending to oppose evil for the most part, they're evil themselves. It's kind of like, you know, how the Republicans, I don't know if you were ever for Republicans, but Republicans pretended to stand for the country, for the Constitution, for morals and family and God and smaller government, less imposing and stuff like that. And responsibility. But then they're just so feeble. It's the same way with there's some black activists who pretend like they're working with the kids or opposing the violence in our cities. Let's have a ceasefire and stuff like that. Let's do programs. They never get to the root issue because they themselves are evil too. They're just not the violent kind of evil, but they are evil. Well, in the sense they are the violent kind because many of them make excuses for supporting abortionist types like Obama and stuff. So they are weak as well.
You're going on with that, James. You're right, but it's like what Jesse says. You know, it starts at the home.
Yeah.
And you know, people. You know, a lot of your parents now, they don't care nothing about raising their children.
Yeah.
Teaching them the right way, teach them how to respect people. You know, how to be nice and tell the truth. When they come home from school, all they want to do is send them to the bedroom, let them play on that Xbox or watch some old TV or whatever, and then feed them supper and put them to bed. They don't spend time with them trying to teach them the right way.
Honestly, they're the ones teaching them the opposite, to be evil. Especially like mothers and like these weak fathers who are just either not there or just pathetic, being run by their mothers. It is it's causing kids to go nuts. It's sick. Well, you've seen how nasty some of these black mothers are, or the single mothers in general.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But when we let our children watch Hollywood,
right,
we turn them loose with their own TV in their room. They can watch pretty much what they want to.
Right.
And you know, every kid just about now has a cell phone.
Yep.
So they can mostly go in there and look at what they want to, and there's no parental guidance whatsoever.
True.
That's child abuse. If you ask me, that's child abuse.
Yeah, I mean they have pornography on the internet. They have all these degenerate social media establishment companies that promote all the wrong things. And then they have the schools. Everything is working against kids to brainwash them to embrace homosexuality and sex outside of marriage and pornography and Black Lives Matter and all the scum of the earth false values. And then they think that they're right. They think you're smarter than your parents. Remember that I played that clip of that evil female teacher who said, you're smarter than your parents? Telling that to high schoolers.
Yeah, I remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you're right. They're brainwashed them, and we are allowing them to brainwash our children.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing anything about it. You know, homeschool, I wish more people, my kids are grown now. Thank God they turned out good. But more people I wish could afford to homeschool their children, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
But, you know, but these private schools, I think they're just about as bad as some of your public schools.
Right.
Public schools, they're not teaching history the right way.
True.
They're all into this inclusive stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to accept the LBGQT alphabet stuff.
Yeah.
And and no, a man and a man can't have a child because but they can adopt children and they can raise them in the right way and they can make them a good home and teach them good values. Well, that's a lie straight from the pits of hell, James.
Did you see that picture of Pete Buttigieg and his so-called husband Chasten? You know on the face of it that it's evil. It's It's a
Phone,
perversion.
James.
What's that? Skip? All right. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I don't know. He said something. No, not talking to you, Nick. Anyway, a little bit more about this Afghanistan. Jay from Phoenix. What's up, Jay? I got to call you back. We got bin Laden by being over there. Osama bin Laden. That's the rumor, is we got Osama bin Laden. And I don't doubt it. But they were on, I remember one of the hosts whom I really like, a conservative host, is like, I got to give Obama credit. He got Osama bin Laden. Credit where it's due. Oh, so big. Ooh, he got Osama bin Laden. Bin Laden, the CIA agent, according to some. Osama bin Laden. That's such a difficult decision. I know that Sleepy Joe Biden was supposedly not for getting bin Laden. He's very key for us for the CIA, is what Sleepy Joe might have been saying. But give me a break. That's not brave. It's not like Barack Obama went there himself and got him. Give me a break. And anyway, Osama bin Laden, I feel like, or I suspect, I wonder anyway, was he just kind of like the fall guy for the scapegoat for the failure of American establishment in allowing these Saudis to be trained by to be pilots, right? We trained many of those Saudis who were on those flights, according to the story. Yeah, SEAL Team 6 is what got bin Laden. The Navy. Not the gay part of the Navy. Because so much of the Navy, oh my gosh, it's like 10%. I heard it was like something like 9%, according to some rumor. They should not be allowing that. What a disgrace. Who are all into that LGBT degeneracy delusion. Bin Laden was killed in Pakistan, says Archnuka. Who knows? Who knows? But by being in Afghanistan, we got him. We got one guy. They killed 3,000. We got one. Granted, I know that we knocked off a bunch of others too and whatever. But our establishment is evil. Do you trust our evil establishment to fight the bad guys in the right way? They are the bad guys. Evil fighting evil. What a mess. Speaking of evil, real quick, I got to play this clip 11 from yesterday. I don't think I put it in the folder. Can you dig into yesterday's folder and pull it up? 11 and 12 I'm going to want to play. Chuck Schumer. He's that sleazy guy. He may as well be a woman, just like Sleepy Joe Biden. He's the Senate, I guess he's the Senate Majority Leader. He acts like he's subservient, by the way, to nervous Nancy Pelosi, who's the House Speaker of the House, right? Because the Democrats have the control over the House of Representatives. And Chuck Schumer's the Senate guy. And according to Arthur, Snopes says bin Laden was not a CIA agent. Okay, thank you, Snopes. Thank you for fact-checking us so that Facebook and Twitter and YouTube don't have to use you to liberals to fact-check my... Oh, he was not a CIA agent. Thank you, Snopes. I trust you. Very trustworthy. They're liberals. It's like a husband and wife deal, I think. And you know who's running the show there. The wife. Arthur Schwartz is a guy on Twitter whom I see every now and then. I forget whether he's a blue check mark. I think he's somewhat of a conservative guy, supposedly. But he tweeted, Chuck Schumer lies through his teeth and tells a reporter that all of the Americans who wanted to come out of Afghanistan have come out. Praise God. Chuck Schumer doesn't believe in God. He's a Democrat. And I don't even think he pretends to be a Christian. Schumer. This is an ABC 9 news clip with some B-roll. It doesn't really show Schumer much, but you'll hear his voice, and you'll see some, fleeing going on in Afghanistan, I think. Listen to this.
How will what happened affect Democrats' chances moving into the midterms?
You know, I can't predict that. I will say there'll be a job for congressional oversight. There always is. But at the moment, actually, I'm still focused on trying to get some of those brave Afghans out. The Americans, all of whom wanted to come out, have come out, praise God. But there are a lot of Afghans who risked their lives for our soldiers and others. Many got out, some didn't. And I'm still working on trying to get some of them out.
What a mess. What a mess. He wants to get more Afghanis. I call them Afghanis because it feels weird to call them Afghans. Out. And just as a nice gotcha, all of the Americans who wanted to come out came out. Praise God. Phony Chuck Schumer, who supports killing babies and stuff. By the way, Snopes was a husband and wife per Brandon M., who's I consider as reliable a source as any. But the husband left the beastly wife, according to the rumors and maybe who knows what, and they divorced. Brandon says I don't know, I don't want to repeat rumors. But is that true, Brandon M.? Oh, man. Anyway, here's a little bit more of a gotcha, Chuck Schumer, because according to Arthur Schwartz, here is one American woman whom the Biden administration left stranded behind enemy lines, asking, am I going to end up dying here? And it's a clip from VOA, which is, I think, Voice of America News. It's somewhat of a supposedly conservative station. Here's this quote-unquote American woman, and you'll see her name on the screen if you're watching the video. Watch this. Listen.
There's been days where, I think to myself, like, am I going to make it home? Am I going to end up living here? Am I going to end up dying here? What's going to happen?
Her name is, or was, I don't know if she's still alive, Nasria, Nasria. Nice American name. Am I right? That's an American stranded in Afghanistan. I'm laughing because I'm not laughing at her. And I wouldn't want, but according to what I read, this Nasria woman who is stranded in Afghanistan, American, Nasria, I can't place. Is that Irish? What is that? Nasria. Anyway, I think that she may have some Afghanistan roots. Maybe she's an anchor baby to America or something. Her English is not too bad. Italian? Is it Italian? She did look somewhat Moorish or something. But I just noticed, okay, so according to a screenshot in the replies, supposedly of an article, Nasria, age 25, from California, flew to Afghanistan in June to visit family. Okay, so she has family in Afghanistan? But she's from California. To visit family and marry her Afghan national husband. Okay. That's the American woman who's stranded in Afghanistan. Interesting. She got family in Afghanistan and married her Afghan national husband. What a mess. But she's an American asset, right? Maybe she's an interpreter. She has pretty good English, so she could be useful, I guess. What a mess. I hope she likes halal food. Nasria, regular American gal. Anyway, if she wants to come back, I don't know if she's whatever. But I did notice, never mind that whole thing, I don't really know who's over there who really is an American who should be coming back here. Maybe they were staying over there to help or something like that. In her case, she flew over there to see family and stuff like that. Leading up to this, we were told by the Biden administration that the Afghan army is strong. It is stable. The Afghanistan government is solid. But listen to these replies, which I call NPC replies. don't strike me for being dehumanizing to people. I know that NPC is considered hate speech because it's dehumanizing people. NPC is short for non-player character or something like that. And that's for basically a robot, right? A robot. It was a right-wing slur for people who don't think for themselves, meaning liberals. Well, listen to these replies. Repeat 1968, that's a Twitter handle, says, probably about this poor American woman, Nasria, who's stuck in Afghanistan. Probably should have left after one of the 19 times she was warned to do so. If that doesn't smack of a twisting of reality, I don't know what does. And some guy says, Mr. Perfect, some woman, Gloria Jean Winneman, Mr. Perfect, wow, I hope you are stranded someday and you don't have a choice. You are told to leave the plane because the plans have changed. So you trusted our government to get you out and they left you behind. So you wait till you become a hostage. Well, that's kind of you, Gloria. But Gustavo R. Arias says, I can't feel sorry for someone who decided to stay in Afghanistan a year after knowing we were pulling out and now wants to be rescued. Aren't the Republicans the party of personal responsibility? That's what Gustavo R. Arias says. Talk about cold-hearted sarcasm. That almost sounds like a right-winger. Reminds me of what JLP said about the blacks who were stuck in Hurricane Katrina. They got stranded. Well, they weren't stuck in Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina came and went. And then the levees broke and it flooded New Orleans way back in, 2005? Not Tupac. Kanye West was like, George Bush doesn't care about black people. And now I agree with him. He doesn't care about black people because he hated Trump. So if you don't like Trump, you don't like black people. Total rhino. But he was pretending that, this is George Bush's fault when the blacks were warned, evacuate. But no, Jesse says, they were relying on the government to save them. Well, Gustavo R. Arias, who says that the Afghanistan people were warned a year ago, the Americans in Afghanistan were warned a year ago to leave Afghanistan. We were also assured that they would do it in an orderly way, and Afghanistan would still be under essentially Western rule because their Western-friendly leadership, well, they fled. Biden said he had total confidence, pretty much, right, in the military, Afghanistan military. They were told to leave since April. It's her problem now, says Angie's third account, and it's gay, rainbow colors. Third Angie. The State Department has been warning people for over 6 months to get out. No, they weren't. I don't think that that's true. Because Biden, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth if that's true. Because Biden was saying that it's fine. And under Trump, it probably would have been fine, I bet. Or it would have been different, definitely. What did she expect? Now we need to spend millions of dollars and risk countless lives to save her? I don't think so. Darwin Award. Says Repub Sucks. S-U-X. I'm just quoting. Retired Mr. Chef says, so where is she? I noticed that no general location is provided. My guess, she is at Kabul. He's just speculating, right? Off the charts. If so, why didn't she leave after 19 times? She wasn't stranded. Seems she chose to stay behind. She had many opportunities to get out. Why didn't she? Now it's someone else's fault? Out of abundance of generosity, the State Department will still help her out, but as they were clear in their multiple warnings before, now it will be more difficult and will tie up resources needed elsewhere. Every crisis has a few that think they know better, says Stay in Classy. A whole bunch of other people. Don Jr., how don't you have the resources to get her out? Why didn't she get out in May when Trump said we would be withdrawing? Because in May, we thought that we would have a stable government. That's what the administration was claiming. Where was she since April 2021? The administration asked them to leave in April. I don't buy that. I didn't hear about it. I doubt they heard about it. She had time to leave instead of waiting till the last minute. Look at all these people pretending like they're so interested, or listen to all these people because you're not seeing. Pretending that they're so interested in personal responsibility. But these are the same people, I bet you, that pretend blacks don't have the responsibility. They've been warned to go get a driver license or a voter ID card, but they can't get it. You're just being racist. Fake victimhood. Where are these cold-hearted people when it comes to blacks and Hispanics resisting arrest with police and getting themselves killed? Oh, should have just obeyed orders the first time. The first 10 times you were told, put the gun down, right? Or the first 10 times you were told to stop. Where are they on voting rights? Blacks and handicapped people have ample opportunity to get an ID, but voter ID laws are racist and ableist. Give me a break. Hurricane Katrina, blacks told to evacuate, but they didn't because they relied on the government to save them. Oh no, this poor blacks. They're only cold when they're told to be cold. And soft toward criminals when they're told to be cold, soft. If Hillary had won in 2016, everything would be going to according to plan. None of this would have happened, and we would never have talked about leaving Afghanistan. Interesting. Racism would have ended, too. Anyway. That's that. Let me get to another call here, guys. Rich in Fresno, California. Great city, great state. Rich, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing well as well. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for answering my call again.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Cool.
I want to ask you about Afghanistan. My father's a serviceman, and it just seems like we're going to go to war.
Oh, you think so? You think we're going to go back into Afghanistan?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to be Afghanistan. I think it's going to be the Taliban and wherever they're at, you know?
Well, the Taliban is in Afghanistan, but I think that they're elsewhere too, because according to the story of that Malala girl, she was shot by the Taliban, but she's from Pakistan, so I guess the Taliban's everywhere. They're expansionists. They're colonizers.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, you know, it's scary.
Yeah. So your father's in the military, and he's to this day he's in the military?
Yeah, he's a sergeant in the Air Force.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
to this day.
And he's I told you I'm from Fresno, so he's Fresno PD as well.
Nice. Right on. Much needed. Fresno PD is almost as dangerous as, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
Is Fresno kind of rough at times? Seems like it would be a little.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, you can't walk from where where I'm staying. You can't walk to the store
because of the gangs and drug dealing and crime. Is it mostly Hispanic crime?
Oh yeah, you hit it on the head.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's not as bad as some of the black cities, though.
No.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're one of the top.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't doubt it. I went to Fresno once just to see this TJ singer from Tijuana, I think.
Oh, wow.
Julieta Venegas. Ever heard of her? Anyway.
No.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It was pop singer. I liked her. But I went with some friends, a road trip. And I remember, I didn't realize that Fresno was so Hispanic. Because I used to go to Fresno in high school to attend this, I think the state meet was there for cross country. The state.
Oh, yeah.
And then they also had it used to be called Kinney, then it became Foot Locker Invitational up in Fresno. I think it was Fresno.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking it was Fresno. I don't think it was Stanford. But
yeah.
So I thought that it was a white town because there was a whole bunch of white schools, you know, the tall white guys, runners.
Now, that's where I want to live. In Clovis.
Yeah, Clovis, exactly. Clovis Invitational and stuff like that. That's not exactly Fresno then, huh? It's a nicer suburb or something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Beverly Hills compared to where we're at.
Yeah.
But,
so, yeah, you know what? I wouldn't doubt that just like Obama got us into some crazy war situations, he brought he brought death onto Americans, both here and abroad. He spiked the crime by supporting Black Lives Matter, and he spiked he and Hillary Clinton, according to President Trump, or then candidate Trump, are the co-founders of ISIS, basically. Benghazi was his fault and Hillary Clinton's fault. I mean, he appointed a LGBT guy as the ambassador of Libya, I think. Somebody did. Chris Stevens. And Chris Stevens was killed by the ISIS, basically. I think ISIS.
Oh, of course.
A precursor to ISIS or something. Were the people who, according to Shubat, you ever heard of Shubat? Who were the ones who attacked the Benghazi consulate or whatever.
Yeah.
But this Kabul.
I've lived through it, you know.
Were you ever in the military? How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay. Were you ever in the military?
No.
Okay. I don't blame you.
Just lived through it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, my dad's done, I can't even tell you how many tours.
Okay.
And, you know, like I said, it's scary sometimes to know that your dad's going to go, you know, and possibly die.
Yeah.
He was in Iran when they bombed it.
Oh, yeah. When Trump bombed it, or when... Is that when Trump was bombing some portion of Iran in retaliation for something?
No. It was last year.
Okay.
And I think it was bombed by the Taliban.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh, and that's when there were some Americans who suffered head injuries, right? Or headaches.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I remember that. Yeah, it was after, because Trump spoke them. I mean, Trump stomped them and they stomped back. And most of our guys were protected, but they had brain damage, which took the form in some cases of headaches, as Trump said. Yeah.
You know, just like the Chinese virus, you know, I don't understand why these other countries get away with doing this kind of stuff, you know?
What do you mean? What do you mean just like the Chinese virus? And you mean you don't know how the Taliban gets away with attacking Americans?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the Taliban, huh? I didn't know that. Or that was Iran. Iran bombing the airfield. Yeah, I think you're right, Uncle Teddy.
It was Iran.
Yeah.
It was the Iranian.
Well, it is a crazy time, that's for sure. And I remember back in 2008, I think it was, I was thinking about going into the military. I was kind of in between starting to go to work or go into the military, this particular job. And I decided to stay with my job because I'm like, I woke up being like, I don't want to get maimed or killed or whatever. And I was warned too, with Obama, we would get into some crazy wars, and it's kind of true. He doesn't care about America or Americans. And same thing with sleazy Joe Biden. But don't worry, though. Do not worry.
Yeah.
Don't fall into worry.
But it's crazy that people wanted to label Trump this dictator kind of guy, and he didn't get us into one war.
Yeah.
And this dude did it in 6 months.
Yeah.
You know?
And he got a bunch of Americans killed.
I think it's inevitable that we're going to get into war.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're pushing a weak religion of this liberalism, this globo homo, this homosexuality, diversity, Love everybody. Democracy. Fake.
Yeah.
That's not a strong.
Just
That's
like that
nobody
general,
believes
right?
in that. Give me a break.
No. Like that general, what is it, Miley?
Yeah,
Or
Millie. Mark Milley. Total
Yeah,
phony.
it's like, how weak can you be?
Yeah. I want to understand white rage. So he reads some black book smearing whites. That's how you're going to understand white rage?
Yeah.
Dumb. Talk to the
and
whites,
like I
dummy. Anyway.
You know, like I said, I'm brown and slow.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I understand that that's not right.
Yeah. Any
you know.
decent person knows that this attack on whites is evil, and it's not going to be good for America or the world. So.
Yeah, but why did they all do it, though?
Why do they all attack whites?
Yeah.
I don't
What did you
exactly
guys
know.
do?
I know that, for one, whites are more Christian. They're more conservative. Whites are like the primary demographic that, as a majority, votes Republican. And not just they're not into the globalist Republicans, even though we keep on getting suckered by them. They're into the more conservative people. And so whites are standing in the way of their thing. It's kind of like they're going after the Taliban right now. The Taliban is not being very diversity-minded. And diversity means women, gays, having children run things, meaning by children, I mean like young college students who think that they're smart. Yeah. And those people are more easily manipulated than white, male, guys who run their own business, who know what's going on and no nonsense type of stuff, who aren't suckers for them, basically. So it's really about good versus evil, and it's not about white versus the anti-white. It just so happens that the white male men are under attack. You'll notice Christians are under attack. Anything that stands up or represents even a hint of decency. You'll notice they'll attack people who are not entirely decent, but who have that hint of it.
Yeah. And is it just because they took God out of it?
Yeah, they have a false religion that is anti-God, but it's an imitation of God's ways. So they will say, instead of love, they have tolerance, or instead of the spirit is what matters. It's diversity is important, meaning like there are diverse evil and there are diverse decent people, right? But the diverse evil are the majority, seemingly. Like the majority of people go into hell. I think. Only a few will enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy that that's accepted, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't understand it, but
it's just, what it is. It's good versus evil. Just keep it simple. Don't try to figure it out, but just keep your eyes peeled. Keep alert. As the Bible says, be self-controlled and alert, and you won't be taken in by the devil.
Yeah, no, and is it mindful to see it and know that you're not the best person, you know. We all got flaws, but just to understand what's going on.
Yeah, but you want to become perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All men are perfect.
Supposed to be.
As long as you're not a woman, right?
Well, Rich, you do JLP's silent prayer?
You know what? I haven't, but I have talked to him, and he told me not to be a liar.
Yeah.
And be silent and listen.
Because you don't want to be getting into worry about your dad or about what's going to happen and stuff like that. You don't want to. Yeah. You don't want to worry. Jesus said, "Do not worry."
Yeah.
So.
It's hard to do that sometimes, though. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I wish you well, man. I do recommend you call into JLP's show if you want. We offer Bond offers private counseling over the phone or over Skype or whatever, and that may be a cool thing. You may like that. You can call the Bond office. Or anybody listening.
I should do that, and get right.
800-411-BOND. 1-800-411-2663 for the Bond. That's the Bond office, and it's open 9 to 4 Pacific time, which is your time. Or if you call off hours, just leave a message and they'll get back to you.
Yeah, give me that one more time so I can write it down.
Yeah, it's 800-411-BOND.
800-411-BOND.
BOND, which is 2663.
Okay, 800-411-BOND.
That's the easy number to remember. There's a local number. It's 323-782-1980. 323-782-1980 is the real number. Do you record your callers, James? Not on not on the office, not on the counseling. Those counseling is private. It's not recorded, not streamed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the men's forums and the women's forums. Not recorded, not streamed. Most of the men's conference was not streamed. Actually, none of the men's conference was streamed.
Even though I don't live in, I'm from Fresno, I could still attend.
Oh, if you come down for a men's forum, you would have to come down and attend in person because we don't stream it at all. So we don't do like conference calls for the men's forum. Partly because of, partly just imagine like people just record it and then they have like all kinds of, who knows what somebody will say at the men's forum, right? So
of course.
So you'd have to drive or fly down for that.
Yeah.
First Thursday of the month usually.
Okay. Well, thank you, James. I appreciate.
Thank you, Rich.
I've said before. I appreciate everything you do, man. It's awesome.
Right on, man.
Just because you're not PC,
Yeah. Well, cool.
That's just like my favorite comics too. Like the same thing.
Nice.
So,
well, take care, Rich. I appreciate you, man. We'll talk again.
All right, James. Thank you. Yeah, definitely.
All right, later. I will get to more of your calls, guys. But first, I have another song for you. Or is it really a song? This is from the Knights of the New Crusade. Just got to get back over here. The Big Man. And it's not a Knights of the New Crusade original, but it is their rendition of The Big Man. I think that it's not written by them. I'm quite sure. And that's from their 2006 album, A Challenge to the Cowards of Christendom. And I will get to your calls, guys, and more stories and mess after this break. Hang tight for the rest of Hour 2.
I was wandering alone when I tripped and I fell into this well of sin. So I hollered to the big man. I hollered, big man, on high. Well, I said, big man, get a hold on me. Well, I said, big man, get a hold on me. I said, big man, get a hold on me. And he reached down and he got me from this well of sin. I said, big man, get a hold on me. I was wandering alone when I tripped and I fell into this well of sin. So I hollered to the big man, I hollered, big man, on high. Well, I said, big man, get a hold on me. Well, I said, big man, get a hold on me. I said, big man, get a hold on me. And he reached down and he got me from this well of sin. I Now I'm standing on a solid piece of land. Whenever I get weary, I holler on the big man. Yes, I holler on the big man. I say big man on high. Well, I said big man, get a hold on me. Well, I said big man, get a hold on me. Yeah, I say big man, get a hold on me. And it reaches down and gets me from this well of sin. I say big man, get a hold on me.
No mute this time, says Santino Robles. Right on, buddy. Nice. Some people think they're saying Big Mac. Big Mac. Well, I appreciate you guys bearing with me through that. Very nice. How is everybody doing today? Big Mac, get a Boulder cheese. You know, before I get to the calls, did you hear my Hake News segment? Did Jesse Lee Peterson cover that abortion thing in Mexico? Yeah, he did. Act of God? The Skim, the far-left female-run outlet, The Skim, is talking about why people are keeping an eye on Mexico. Mexico. Because there was an earthquake, they say. The far-left female-run outlet, The Skim, with 2 M's. Last night, a powerful 7.0 magnitude quake hit the southwest part of the country near Acapulco. Acapulco. Used to be a nice restaurant. I don't know if they still look around. A bunch of them closed down several years ago. Mexican restaurant. It caused buildings to shake in Mexico City, about 230 miles away. Wow. About 1.6 million people without power. That dwarfs, I think, or maybe it's about the same as the number of people without power from Hurricane Ida here in America. And at least one person was killed, probably more than that, because it's just last night, you know. So maybe there's more rubble to wade through. Remember what was the body count after that Miami area apartment building collapse or condo collapse? I don't remember. But that was last night. Yesterday, the country's Supreme Court. Where is Mexico's Supreme Court? Mexico Supreme Court building. Let's see where that is. Just off the main plaza of Mexico City. Okay. In Michoacan. Is it in Michoacan? Interesting. The country's Supreme Court ruled that criminalize, and they have 3 females on the 11-member so-called Supreme Court in Mexico. And they're every bit as disgraceful, maybe more so, than America's so-called Supreme Court. I don't know if they have the equivalent of a Justice Clarence Thomas, the only true justice, along with maybe, well, Scalia died. He was the Italian guy who was pretty solid, I think. And who's that other guy who's okay sometimes? So help me out, chat. Anyway, they said, Alito, yes. Alito's the other guy who's okay, I think. In some cases, he may rule a little bit better than Thomas. But I really like Thomas. Clarence Thomas. His grandpa once called him an educated fool, which is so typical of young educated people, right? So-called educated. They said criminalizing abortion is unconstitutional for Mexico's constitution. I didn't know Mexico had a constitution. They seem to be incontinent. They can't even keep their own people from getting killed and being run by the cartels. Or is that an exaggeration? I know that there's places in Mexico that aren't chaos, but anyway. Mexico is home to the world's 2nd largest Catholic population. And only 4 states, Oaxaca, Veracruz, Hidalgo, and Mexico City, have legalized abortions. Wow. All right. Now the Supreme's decision could pave the way for more states to make abortion available. And the move comes as the women's rights movement has gained popularity there in recent years. Just when you think you couldn't fall any further, here come the women. What a mess. And the simps. Cartels run it all down there, says Lisa. Shout out to the Facebook crew. I see ya. Nice to see ya. A lot of dark arts going on in Mexico. For a long time, just ask Nick, says Radulaser. What would Nick know? Well, he knows people who are Mexican. I love Mexican people, as Trump said. But yeah, they have like the Day of the Dead. They bring that stuff up here. Hollywood Forever has like this Day of the Dead thing. Mexico City is its own entity without being formally called a state, to be precise, says Nico. Yeah, it's kind of like D.C. I bet you it's crime-ridden, too, just like D.C. is, full of corrupt politicians, corrupt people. That's my guess. I knew some people who were from Mexico City. I knew some people. What a mess. And I told you in Hake News at the end of hour 1 today that there's these people running their mouths. Disgraceful people running their mouths. Was that hour 1 or was it hour 2? I guess it was hour 2. Yeah, listen to this. Coahuila, Coahuila, is the state, and it borders Texas. It's the one that goes kind of in between the if you picture Texas as like an upside-down kangaroo shark thing, like the head or dinosaur thing, the head, it's in between the head and the fin hump on the back of it. Coahuila. It's a landlocked state in between a couple of states further towards the Gulf Coast and a few states further towards the Pacific Ocean. Coahuila. There was a law in the state of Coahuila that threatened women, according to CNN, who undergo abortions, kill the babies in the womb, with up to 3 years in prison, based and a fine. That's what Trump would have done. No, I have not been smoking pot. Listen to this. Female Supreme Court so-called Justice Ana Margarita Rios Farhat. I am against stigmatizing those who make this decision to kill the baby in the womb, which I believe is difficult to begin with. So let's take that decision off the hands of women. They shouldn't be making decisions. They shouldn't be making decisions, much less to kill the baby in the womb. Very difficult to begin with due to moral and social burdens. One of only 3 women in the court's 11 justices. And there's another Supreme Court Chief Justice Arturo Zalvidar. Today is a historic day for the rights of all Mexican women, except for the unborn baby girls getting killed. Right? Or the mothers of the fathers of the babies whose babies are getting killed. Right? Because the mother of the father is like, I want to be a grandma. And the daughter-in-law, or maybe it's not married, right? Probably out of wedlock birth, says, no, I'm going to kill your granddaughter or grandbaby. Hake's throat's going to be sore after all these names today. Mexican flag. What a terrible mess, huh? Pure evil. And there are many U.S. states that are putting in these laws, and I wonder what the Supreme Court's going to do. We'll see. Texas, as you know, moved to restrict abortion access, health care, reproductive health care. How is that healthy to kill a baby? It's not. It's a euphemism for the convenience of killing the baby and pretending it's about women. It's an upside-down kangaroo thing with a shark fin. Dinosaur-esque. So even Mexico is under attack by the femicommies. I call them femicommies. Commies are more murderous than even the Nazis. Can you believe it? Speaking of murder, Bruce Jenner, and I am dead naming him respectfully, though. It is a respectful dead name because I respect him too much, as I keep on saying anytime I bring him up, that I can't call this man a woman or call him Caitlyn. I know he changed his name to Caitlyn and he got various things to make him look a little bit more womanly, woman-esque. Here's this. Do I have this clip in the folder? I think I do. Here's Bruce Jenner, which CNN falsely, they call him Caitlyn because he says, call me Kate. C-A-I-T. Poor real women named Caitlyn and young girls named Caitlyn. It's a nice name. Marred by Bruce. Bruce Jenner. This is he appeared on CNN talking about this Texas abortion thing. He's like, we'll listen to him.
I am for a women's right to choose. I am also for a state having the ability to make their own laws. And so I support Texas in that decision. That's their decision. I'm okay with that. But as far as being a woman's right to choose, I don't see any changes in our laws in California in the future.
But you're fine with the Texas law, even though you say that you support abortion rights. You are fine with a law that essentially outlaws abortion.
I think they have the right in their state to do what they want to do. Now, do I agree with the decision or not? No, to be honest with you, I actually probably do not agree with the decision. But I agree with they have the right to make their own decision.
Thank you, Bruce. States' rights. Base, Bruce. Am I right? Oh, man. Manly voice intensifies his... Can't see his eyes. Yeah, because he has so much eyeshadow. He learned that from his stepdaughter. Didn't he marry into the Kardashians after that guy died or something like that? And, Doom Jesus reminds me, that's why I said, speaking of murder. Well, I guess it's not murder because he wasn't, drunk driving, I don't think. But Doom Jesus points out, Bruce Jenner, he says gender, ran over somebody, didn't he? I don't think he ran over the person. As I recall, I think he rear-ended her or him or something. I think it was a her. On, PCH, I feel like, but I could be completely wrong. I just picture it being on PCH after the end of the 10 freeway. We call it the 10 over here in Cali, SoCal. Some of you guys call it I-10. I-10, International 10. We go on I-10, I-95, I-70. We call it the 10. And he killed somebody. I guess he wasn't, I don't know what happened, but I think he rear-ended somebody and they died. Usually a rear ending isn't deadly. I do agree with less big government. Republican and all, says Lisa. Yeah, states' rights. States' rights. But come on, Bruce. Is it too much to ask Bruce to be sane and be not for killing babies? In the olden days, Trump, too, was very so-called pro-choice. He had been taken in by the lies. But then, according to him, he had a grandchild or few or whatever, and he realized, you know what, I'm pro-life, but with the exceptions. You can kill the baby if it's from according to Trump, from a rape or an incest, right? Or the life of the mother. Rape, incest, or life of the mother. The exceptions. I'm for the exceptions. I'm not for those. It's not logical, man. But he's from New York. Cut him some slack. But that's on CNN. And notice that the evil woman says abortion rights. Abortion is not a right. Oh, it's in the Constitution, the right to privacy. Or according to, what's her name, it shouldn't be a right to privacy. The woman who died, whom Trump was sad about when she died. And nice of him to say. Ginsburg, RBG. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the notorious RBG. She said, no, it shouldn't be a right to privacy. It should be equal protection. A woman should not be forced to have a baby, just like a man is not forced to have the baby. Give me a break. They hate it's not Mother Nature. I'm sorry. They hate nature and nature's God. That's women for you. They hate reality. God blessed them with the curse of pain and childbearing. Or he cursed them with the pain and childbearing. And they want to reject it. Men still got to work I guess we don't have to work by the sweat of our brow anymore, right? Except in here when we need the AC. Do we need the AC? It's getting kind of warm. By the sweat of your brow you shall earn your keep. You shall eat of the land. Do I just need to keep on sweating? Turn on the AC. Thank you, man. But that's Bruce Jenner. Anyway, let me get to a call, guys. Paul in Massachusetts. You guys can call in 888-775-3773. But Paul in Massachusetts, how are you doing, man?
Hey, it's going good, Hake. How's it going, bro?
It's going well. You sound kind of far off to me. Are you able to come closer to your phone or come off speakerphone or something? Regular phone, buddy.
Can you hear me now?
Much better. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, no. Prayers to the caller from before. I hope him and his family are doing well, and his father, doesn't have to go to another pointless war.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm calling because I worked at a school, right? And they made us all go to one of those critical race theory trainings.
Wow. They made you, huh?
Yeah, they forced us. It was crazy. And, I'm not white, but, they segregated us, by rooms and stuff.
Wow.
And let me tell you, just some of the rhetoric that they said was, just vicious, vile, and going by their definitions, racist.
Yeah.
It's just I tell people, focus on what your kids are learning right now. Because, now that, parents have been forced to work from home, they're able to see now, through these Zoom meetings, whoa, they're teaching my kids to hate white people for no reason.
Yeah.
And, I think the problem is that, with the conservative side is that they were, they weren't paying attention to that. And now it's these kids have literally they've been indoctrinated to this stuff, man. And they push the LGBT agenda heavily on these kids.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, gays and all that stuff, they're 3% of the population.
Right.
I mean, at this
they
point,
want to grow that. They want to make that grow. You're so right. It is, you know what, the conservatives, it's not just that the conservatives fell for it too. They were brainwashed into this stuff too. That's why you see grown conservative men falling over themselves pretending slavery was such a terrible thing. Oh, we have such a terrible past. The Democrats, oh my gosh. But there was good and evil. I think there were evil people on both sides, and there may have been very fine people on both sides of the Civil War and the segregation and the Jim Crow stuff. They don't tell you, they don't explain why they put these rules in place. They just say, oh, they just hated black people. They're just racist. They don't get into why things were this way, why the KKK was formed. They don't say why this and why that, because they don't want to admit that there was people trying to take what they felt were reasonable measures, just as the people today are taking evil measures, shutting down the government in the name of the China virus, for example. Not shutting down the government, shutting down businesses in the name of the China virus.
Churches.
Oh, some people thought that was reasonable. But 100 years from now, hopefully we'll say that was pure evil. But we can say why it was.
The funny part is that, Kamala Harris's, ancestry, people have found out. Her ancestors owned slaves. So,
I know. But that's
Funny...
cool. To me, that's awesome to have ancestry to know, to be able to know many generations back is pretty cool. But it's like irrelevant, honestly.
Yeah,
And-
you don't judge the child from the sins of the father.
And
like the
and it's
Bible
not a
says,
sin
you know?
to be a slave owner. It's not slavery was not a sin. Maybe there were some wrong things done amid slavery, I hear, but not every slave owner. Most of the slave owners, or many of them, were upright, moral, honorable people who treated their slaves well.
Better than the Irish, that's for sure. And, this is coming from someone that's, like, in a predominantly Irish area. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so crazy, like Jesse says. And I also want to thank him, man, because I forgave my mom a year ago. I do his silent prayer and meditate. And, but like he says, it's a spiritual battle with these people because they really, like, you look at them and you're like, they clearly have a deficiency in character.
Yeah. The people who are falling for this, or the people who are pushing this CRT thing, or the people who are falling for it?
Yeah, no.
Both?
I mean, the people that fall for it, I feel immense, like, empathy for that. They're so gullible, but the people
Right.
pushing it, it's like the drug dealers pushing stuff out there.
Yeah. You have to blame both, really. You have to hold people to a high standard to the standard of what's right. You can't cut people, make excuses for people. You can understand why they're that way, but you can't make excuses for people or feel sorry for them or anything, because it's not going to do them good or you. And you may start falling for things if you start judging them and feeling bad for the people who are suckers, or being angry at the evil people who are brainwashing others. It's blind leading the blind.
Amen.
Yeah.
And one thing, hey,
Yeah.
it's awesome that you love Extol, man. They're one of my favorite metal bands.
Nice.
And yeah. You should play more of their material, man. I tell people all the time.
That's cool, man. I only listened to and bought that first album that I was exposed to, the Burial from 1998.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't really listen to them much afterwards at all. But I really like that album, Burial by Extol from 1998. Quite talented. And then they changed up their style in different ways. But they're highly respected in my book.
Awesome. Well,
That's
keep
cool.
up the good work, Hake. God bless you, and God bless Jesse.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Take care. Whew. Extol, guys. Extol. That was that. It's like a mixture of black metal and death metal or something like that. Yeah. And thrash and other things. They take things and put it together in a compelling way. Very nice. Extol. Let me just double check the super chats, guys. Appreciate the support. All of you on trovo.live/the Hake Report and streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. Before I get back to calls, Biden is going to be pushing these vaccine mandates. Did you know that? It's ridiculous. And it makes me laugh when people laugh like that. And I started to laugh like that, and it made me laugh even more. This is a clip it's a very brief clip. I saw it on Twitter. It's just funny, very short. This is from Jen Psaki, who's an Obama holdover in the so-called Biden administration. The red-haired communist. I'm not a communist, I don't think. If you have anger, you're a liberal, though, so watch out. She's insufferable as Kickflip Chris. Kickflip Chris, is that a nice name? Skateboard White describes her. Evil woman. I played a clip of her about... Do you want to replay that clip? Dig that other clip up of her talking about abortion, if you can find it. Getting all sassy about abortion. I know you played it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and probably that same clip on the Hake Report. Evil, nasty woman. I may dig it up too, just to have it handy. She's an evil, disgusting person. She's all, I don't think you ever have had to deal with those choices as a man. I don't think you've ever had to deal with those choices of whether to have an abortion. It's a terrible choice. It's hard to pick. So they shouldn't even be offered it. Do you have that clip ready? He's looking for it, guys. But there's another one of her. Oh, I found it. Okay. It was played the 3rd of, I think it was played on the 3rd of September. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. Here's just a reminder of how insufferable, this is one of the worst ones from Jen Psaki that I can think of. Jen Psaki talking about a woman's choice, and she's getting all smart-mouthed with a Christian man, a Catholic man. He's supposed to be Christian, right? From a Catholic news agency, asking about how is Catholic Joe Biden pro-abortion? Listen to his question and her answer.
Is to look for every resource, every lever at our disposal to ensure women in Texas have the ability to seek health care.
Following up on the Texas law, why does the president support abortion when his own Catholic faith teaches abortion is morally wrong?
Well, he believes that it's a woman's right, it's a woman's body, and it's her choice.
Why does the president, who does he believe then should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions, and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices, nor have you ever been pregnant, but for women out there who have faced those choices, this is an incredibly difficult thing. The president believes their rights should be respected. Go ahead. I think we got to move on.
What a sassy, nasty, such a nasty woman. Such a nasty woman. Evil. And she starts pretending, and she points to all the women in the room. Trying to turn the women against this man. And they probably are, because they're a bunch of liberals. Reporters are not honest. They are dishonest people. And I wonder how long. That's a, Emperor of Cats says, that's a shut up type of statement. Lin Yan Shin says, she is aging fast. That once kind of pretty redheaded demon of a mouthpiece to Biden. Whoa. Thank you for the Trovo colorful chat. Well, listen to Jen Psaki. This is, it was floating around on Twitter. She admits to the global scam plan demic. Or does she? Listen to this.
Conversation to be wide-ranging, to cover a range of topics of mutual interest, everything from COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic to regional...
What did you say?
To address the global pandemic.
Whoa! She said pandemic. Exposed? What is that type of slip? Freudian slip? She's such a poser. She is such a poser. She's in over her head, you know? And she's just propping herself up. You can tell she's kind of insecure. Am I reading too much into this? Or am I seeing her for what she is? These women, they're pretending to be all proper and know what they're talking about. Overcompensating. She doesn't belong there. I really don't think that Trump should have been picking these females to be the press secretaries. I understand, I think, why. Because a female face is softer and it's harder to go against a woman, and men are weak to women, right? But it would be nice to have a man. And I'm not talking about that one male who ended up on Dancing with the Stars, right? No, he wasn't a very good one. And nor was Obama's male guy who was doing that either. He had a male who was doing that. Press secretary. But anyway, she admitted it's a global pandemic. Ragnar0321 says, Snopes says Psaki never said pandemic. Boom, debunked. Did they? No, I don't think so. But anyway, that's Jen Psaki for you. And they are pushing vaccine mandates. Tomorrow, Biden is going to talk. I guess that's what they're saying. They're saying kids are getting the virus more, children, an increasing proportion, as CNN said. Is that true? I don't know. Biden's going to outline a 6-step plan to curb the COVID-19 Delta variant, according to the White House. That's an Epoch Times headline. And I heard that there was something. Senator Rand Paul claims that Fauci lied again. New disclosed documents show Fauci lied. Do you guys know about Fauci's latest lie? James would make Greta press secretary. Greta Thunberg, how dare you? No, I would make that girl who got shot in the face my press secretary. I was shot in the face. Don't talk to me like that. No, I'm playing. I don't like either of those girls. They're just fall right in line with the globalist, socialist people, evil people. But Fauci is accused of lying again. Did you know that? There are people who are fighting against these mandates. The Arizona Attorney General says the vaccine mandate for city employees is unconstitutional. Well, that's nice. And there are some California nurses who have hired an attorney after a blanket denial of religious vaccine exemptions. And I saw this other story of a woman who was set to sing or something at the the Super Bowl or something like that. And she got a religious exemption to not get vaccinated, and they switched her out. That's what I saw in a headline. Let me see if I can dig that up. Anyway, whatever. There's a big fight. Let me get to a call. I'll look for that in the meantime. Tony in California has an update on another black jogger story. Joggers, the actual jogger. Ahmaud Arbery. Tony from California. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
How you doing, Mr. Hank?
I'm doing fine. The name is Hake.
Okay, Hank.
Wow, such utter disrespect. I said the name is Hake, and you just said Hank again. Are you hard of hearing?
Okay. No, I just call it Hank. Whatever. You just hillbilly.
Can I call you N-word?
If you like, go ahead and see what happens.
See what happens.
But the thing
Man,
is,
the blacks got the upper hand on us. If they call us racist, then we get fired. If we call them N-word, we get fired. What the heck?
Well, the thing
it's hard being a white man in America. We don't have the freedom of speech.
Just to prove that you say racism don't exist, this is the bucket right here. Kick it in the bucket right here, because this is the main thing. This DA tried to cover up evidence on Ahmaud Arbery's murder trial. Now she's been indicted.
Explain in your words, in 30 seconds or less, who Ahmaud Arbery was and what happens to him.
He was the black gentleman jogging through the neighborhood of some white individuals, and they was pursuing him. They cut him off. They shot him with a shotgun, and then they killed him and murdered him in the street for jogging and being black in America. So
the real story, guys, is they suspect he trespassed onto like a onto some private property. It was like a construction zone.
No proof.
No, there's video footage of him on this construction zone. A lot of people go on there. Maybe he was just an up-and-coming electrician.
Yes.
And then they tried to do. Hold on, man. They tried to do a citizen's arrest on him because they felt that stuff would have been stolen, maybe. And so they tried to citizen's arrest him. They're like, "Hey, come here," and he starts to run away from them.
He was jogging from the beginning.
And he'd been doing that multiple times. He was going on that private property and looking at stuff. Who knows?
Not multiple times.
Yeah, he was.
Went on that private property multiple times.
He was. Hold on, man. He was. He was on, according to Chris, other properties too. I had not heard that, but maybe I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I know.
He was kind of an up to no good type of a person sometimes. A year or two earlier, he was arrested.
Man, what you doing? You prosecuting him for what happened?
No, I'm just talking. I'm just giving more context to this black gentleman who was jogging in the white neighborhood.
Let's stay with the present.
No. The present is it's long over, but he had come out of a Walmart with some other kids. He was an adult, maybe. And they had stopped him because he was allegedly trying to steal a TV. Allegedly trying to steal a TV, and then he acted like he didn't know what he was talking about. And then he was frisked by a cop one time, and he got all aggressive because the cop acted like he wanted to go into his car. He's like, and he bumped into the cop. Whoa, stay out of my car. So this guy was erratic, acting erratic.
I guess some white gentleman looked up his history and said, well, we got to stop him because he's been in trouble before, and he's a black man, so let's go out here and murder him, right?
No, Tony, let me tell you what happened, because I don't call this
you
murder.
You already told the story.
No. I have not finished telling the actual story. Here's the incident. Here's the incident.
Here we go. Go ahead with the twist.
It's a reality twist. It's the twist of reality. He was not just shot while jogging. He was running away from them. They were trying to do a citizen's arrest.
If 3 men come at you with people with guns,
hold on, man.
Too.
What the heck? I've talked to Tony in a while. They cut him off, and one guy gets out of his car. With a
shotgun.
Yeah, with a shotgun. And what does Ahmaud Arbery do with the man with the shotgun?
He fought for his life. That's what he did. He fought for his life.
That's not fighting for his life. That's fighting recklessly to get yourself killed. When you grab a guy with a shotgun and you take... Hold on, man. When you grab a guy who has a shotgun and you grab the shotgun and you throw punches at the guy with the shotgun, trying to take the shotgun from him.
That's a lie.
Now,
he did not throw no punches.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did throw punches. I watched the video.
Stop lying.
I'm not lying. You're lying now.
He tried to get the gun out of his hand.
You can't make a call into my show without lying, Tony.
Yeah, well, you can't stop lying.
He threw blows.
So what's the difference?
He threw punches at the guy who had the gun, and he was trying to take the gun away from him. At that point, the man with the shotgun is also fighting for his life, and so he shoots him in self-defense because you can't just go up and try to take a guy's gun from him.
Why are you pursuing somebody jogging?
They thought
because he's black?
They suspected him of robbery.
Because he's black. So wait. What did he do? He put some panels or some.
Is it not true? Is it not true?
He had it on his shoulder, or he was carrying it on his head, and walked away from the construction site.
Are you pretending that all blacks are criminals or something?
No, that's what you're saying.
No, that's what you're saying.
Hey, what about this guy named Riley, man,
Tony,
and murders 4 people, Tony, man, shot at the police. What about him? You ain't talking about him?
I say that anybody who is trying to arrest somebody for allegedly committing robbery is not just because he's black. It's because he's trying to commit robbery.
What the evidence? Well, he had some towels.
Oh, I'm sorry. They had to compile their evidence? Tony, I thought that a citizen's arrest means they had reasonable suspicion that he had committed a felony.
Because he's black.
Because he had committed... A lot of blacks commit felonies. You're right. Thank you, Tony, for pointing that out.
There you go. A lot of blacks. You had to throw that.
Do they not? You're the one who said it. You're the one who said it.
What about the white guy that committed murder the other day and shot 4 people?
What about him? What's that have to do with Ahmaud Arbery?
Huh?
What's that have to do with Ahmaud Arbery?
What about Brian Riley, whatever his name is, shot 4 people, a mother and a baby, and then turned around and shot at the police. And then the police
like you care about babies. Like you care about babies.
And then you got a white
You care about babies, Tony?
With a 5,000-pound car ran over a black girl and a Mexican child.
Tony.
She got 25 years. She still got life. What you want?
Tony.
Tell me what?
Do you care about babies?
I love babies.
That's a drop. I love baby. Yeah, right. You sicko. Tony.
Yes.
Explain. This is from Bible Go-To Guy. Explain blacks killing children in Chicago. You're always calling with these once in a while, once in a blue moon cases between black and white.
After Bible 2 Guy, how many suicides in the white community?
He asked you first.
In the white community? Huh?
As far as I know, Bible Go-To Guy has not committed suicide.
In Chicago. What the percentage of murders in Chicago are compared to the population of 4 or 5 million people? Come on, man. Keep it 100. Y'all get off that talking one mess.
This guy
and try to find something
pretending
else
to bring
that's
up math.
Talk about your own people before you talk about somebody else. Because y'all ain't nothing but murderers. Always have been and always will be.
Back at you. Back at you.
Have a wonderful day.
You
have
too.
a wonderful day.
You too.
A suspect.
Suspect. Oh yeah, because I'm white. Oh man, come on, man. Man, I saw this. Here, let me pull up this other one. Let's see. Man, where did I see this? Canceled for not getting vaccine. Singer. No. Well, I did tell you guys about Eric Clapton. Man, where was this? I was sure that it was from the Epic Times, but I could be completely wrong. Oh yeah, recording artist Victory Boyd refuses vaccine for religious reasons, and the NFL cancels her. For her opening performance, because she was going to sing the national anthem, right? Cancels her national anthem opening day performance. Oh, so it had nothing to do with the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is way over in like February, right? This is from Mark Tapscott, September 7th on the Epic Times. They're kind of a middle of the road outlet, Chinese. Toby, says Ledge Klinger. What's that? It's Toby, Hank, not Tony. Toby. Thank you, Brandon M. and Ledge Klinger for the super cap and Trovo Colorful Chat. As I understand, listen to this, an appearance by Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Victory Boyd, who looks black to me, by the way, to perform the national anthem at the NFL's September 9th seasoning opening game in Tampa Bay was canceled by the league because she declined for religious reasons to be vaccinated against the Chinese virus. Wow. As I understand that Victory will not be fully vaccinated by the time of kickoff game, she would not have been able to comply with the terms of the game day field access policy, so they're just going to discriminate against Christians? Is this Boyd woman Christian, Victory Boyd? Said NFL Senior Director for Media and Entertainment Events Seth Dudowski, told Boyd's father and manager John Boyd in an August 31st email made available to the Epic Times. As a result, we unfortunately will not be able to invite Victoria to perform the national anthem at this year's kickoff game. Wow. Shameful. NFL, enemies of America. Just like the NBA. Tony is Earl's living legacy, says Linyachin. The NBA, a bunch of scummy, the singer. Scummy, anti-American, kiss up to Black Lives Matter, kiss up to the vaccine commies, because I can't say vaccine Nazis, because Nazis, their word for us. They just call us Nazis, so I call them commies. I call them Nazi commies. Nazi commies. Nazi commies such as in the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Dudowski ended weeks of negotiations that initially succeeded both Boyds because, in addition to $20,000 performance fee, the occasion provided invaluable national television exposure on one of the NFL's most watched games other than the Super Bowl. Wow. They agreed to cover the travel costs of Victory Boyd. What a shame. 27-year-old singer-songwriter blends soul and folk music. I wonder what type of woman this is. But she was a member of the team that produced Kanye West's Jesus is King 2021 Christian album. Top Christian album, Jesus is King. She was the primary lyricist for the albums Closed on Sunday and God Is songs. She made additional contributions to Water. Well, Her grounds for declining to be vaccinated are rooted in her Christian faith, she told the Epoch Times. The Bible admonishes Christians to appreciate their bodies as being sacred and a temple of the Holy Spirit and not participate in things that can defile the body or render the body dysfunctional. I am in prayer to make sure that the Lord guides me into the right decision concerning receiving an unproven injection with artificial properties that can potentially have long-term effects on my reproductive health. And by reproductive health, she means ability to have babies, not ability to kill the baby, right? Victory Boyd. Can you Google a picture of her just to show you what she looks like? She's a black woman, a singer. If I want to take the vaccine, the decision will be between myself, my doctor, and my God. Not exactly the correct sentence structure, but that's fine. Perfectly reasonable opinions, right? At this point, the Spirit of God is leading me to take a stand for freedom of choice. Indeed. Look at all the worst people are pushing people and forcing people. There are people who are well-meaning, who are like, take it, but you have your freedoms, like Trump. I encourage you guys to take it, but you have your freedoms. But all the worst people are forcing it on others. There she is. That's a nice picture of her. Victory Boyd. And, a whole lot of people running into this mess. Oh, dear me. But including nurses, California nurses. Sick stuff. Oh, my gosh, we are overtime. Guys, this has been the Hake Report, thehakereport.com. Appreciate it. And make sure you catch the Sunday Service Throwback Archive. It's going to premiere at 4 p.m. Pacific time today. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. If you scroll down, you can also find information on the silent prayer and all that mess. It's not mess. It's not mess. That was a mistake. I'm just trying to hurry up. Thanks, guys. Take care.